Vardorvis is one of the newest bosses in old school RuneScape. He was added with the Desert Treasure 2 update. He's very challenging, but he has great rewards. And today we're going to go over everything you need to know about this boss. The first thing we're going over is the unique drops, the first one being the Strangled Tablet, which drops at 1 in 25 and can be added to your Ring of Shadows to teleport you close to the boss arena. This teleport saves you about a minute of running on each trip and means you won't have to bring stamina potions to do the run efficiently. The next item is the Blood Quartz, which drops at 1 in 200 and can be attached to your Ancient Scepter to create the Blood Ancient Scepter, which not only increases the damage of Ancient Magic by 10%, but also allows you to overheal using blood spells. The first valuable item is the Virtus Robe set, which drops at 1 in 1088 for any non-specific piece. There's 3 pieces, the mask, the robe top, and the robe bottom. Each piece of this set is worth a good amount of money. Next, we have another untradeable item, the Executioner's Axe Head, that combines with the other 3 pieces from the other 3 Desert Treasure bosses to create the Soul Reaper Axe. The Chromium Ingot is the most common drop on the unique drop table, and although it's not worth that much money, it's still a good drop to see. The Awakener's Orb is on a separate drop table and drops at a rate of 1 in 80. It's worth a decent amount, and you can use it to fight the Awakened version of any of the DT2 bosses. The Eltor Vestige drops at a rate of 1 in 1088, and it's untradeable on its own, but you can use it to craft the Eltor Ring, which is currently worth over 100 mil. Now that we're done with the loot, let's talk about the gear. I'll go over what I bring personally, and then I'll talk about other options that you might like. I bring the Neatisnat Face Guard, the Amulet of Torture, Fire Cape, Bandos Chestplate and Tassets, Dragon Defender, a Fang, Rada's Blessing 3, Primordial Boots, a Berserker Ring Imbued, and Ferocious Gloves. In my inventory I bring a special attack weapon, 3 Super Restores, a Divine Super Combat Potion, 5 Anglerfish, 6 Sharks, 8 Karamblons, my Book of the Dead, Home Teleport Tablets, the Ring of Shadows, and a Rune Pouch with Fire Runes, Blood Runes, and Cosmic Runes. Other gear options include full Torva if you can afford it, or if you can't, and you can't afford the gear setup I showed, a Serpentine Helm, Fighter Torso, and Obsidian Plate Legs do just fine. The Amulet of Blood Fury is nearly on par with the Torture when you include the healing that it offers you. A regular Fury will also do just fine. The Infernal Cape is obviously your best in slot if you have one. The Scythe is a great melee weapon for this boss, as well as the Blade of Saildor. The Abyssal Tentacle does just fine if you can't afford either of those. The Avernic Defender is an upgrade from the Dragon Defender, and if you can't afford Ferocious Gloves and Primordial Boots, Barrows Gloves and Dragon Boots will do just fine. For special attack weapons, your best bet is going to be the Dragon Claws, followed by the Void Waker. After that, you have the Ancient Godsword and Saradomin Godsword for the healing that they offer. For your stats, I would recommend at least 80 in attack, strength, and defense, but you're going to want 90s plus to kill him effectively. For your prayer level, you're going to want at least level 70 for the Piety Prayer, and your magic level should be as high as possible to make your thralls more effective. Now let's talk about the different ways to get to the boss. If you've gotten the teleport to Raids 1 on your Xerix Talisman, you can take the Xerix Honor teleport, and it'll take you straight to Raids 1. From there you can run south. So as you're running south and you're going around this lake, if you're going to use this method, you do need a stamina potion, or else you'll run out of run energy on the way to the boss. You're going to click on this gray area down here and wait for your player to run there. This route is very slow, and it's one of the reasons that the Strangle's Tablet is such a good drop to get early on, because then you can just use the Ring of Shadows to teleport straight to it. So as you get down here further south, you'll get to this green area, and you'll travel on the rowboat. That'll take you to the Stranglewood, which is where Vardorvis is located. Once it loads and you get off the boat, you want to go up these stairs to the west, and you could just see it there. As we come up these steps, you'll see there's a small pyramid all the way to the west, nearly out of render distance, and we just want to enter the entry. That'll take us down to near where Vardorvis is. As you can see, I have the tiles marked purple over there in his arena. After this method, the second method is to use the fairy ring, code BLS. I have a fairy ring in my house, so I'll just use this one. So BLS takes you down into that green area near where the bear was and near the boat. As you can see here, I've never actually used this one before, so I got a little lost. Eventually I did figure out where I was at. I checked the map, see that I'm going the right way. And as you run down this dirt path here, this run is much better. It will take you directly to the boat. Once you get to the boat, it's the same thing from there. You'll just hop on the boat and then run west up the stairs and into the small pyramid. The best method available is the teleport with the Ring of Shadows to the Stranglewood. When you take this teleport, it's going to take us to an area that we haven't shown yet. It's this large pyramid that you went to during the quest. And from there, you're just going to run northwest to the small pyramid and climb down the small pyramid. Once we get down here, you'll continue west and you'll run straight around to the entrance of the boss's lair. The next thing we need to talk about is actually killing the boss. The boss's melee attacks can hit through protection prayers and also heal him for half of the damage that they do. However, protection prayers do reduce the damage that you'll take, so it's important to always pray melee. The only exception to this rule is during one of Vardorvis' 4 special attacks. When his head will fire a ranged attack at you, you need to switch to protect from range, or else it will disable your prayer for a few ticks and you'll get hit by Vardorvis. Vardorvis' second special attack, and the most common, is the axes. Until he gets to 50% health, there will only be 2 axes. Once he's below 50% health, every axe spawn will have 3 axes. You'll need to move out of the way of these, or else they'll do pretty decent damage and also cause you to bleed. The third special attack is the spike attack. Vardorvis will dash back and forth 1 to 3 times, spawning spikes in his path. After a couple ticks, these spikes shoot out of the ground, and if you're standing on one, you'll take damage. The good news is, there's actually a way to avoid this mechanic completely, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. The final special attack is called Infection. Vardorvis will grab onto your player's face, and you have to click these little red circles on the screen fast enough so that you don't take damage. This one's not that difficult, and there's a way to actually damage Vardorvis during this attack, and I'll also talk to you about that. I also want to quickly touch on my marked tiles. The tile all the way at the bottom here, in between the 2 pillars, is the tile that makes you safe from Vardorvis' spike attack. He'll still do the animation, but the spikes won't spawn. Sometimes one will though. The other tiles that aren't in between the pillars, I just used to give myself a guideline for getting out of the way of the axes. So you'll see me using them when I fight the boss to get myself out of the way. So the last part here will just be a commentary over a recorded Vardorvis fight. So as you can see, I start off, I eat an angler, and I take my Divine Super Combat. Then I turn on Protect Melee, Piety, as well as Protect Item, just in case I were to die. I attack the boss, and I move back to this center tile between the pillars. I always like to keep my prayer book open so that I'm ready to switch to range whenever the head pops up. So as you can see there's the first head. I just quickly switch to range and then switch back. There he did the spike attack, and it spawned a single spike, which was in front of me. Here, I just simply move to a different edge so that I can get out of the way of all 3 of those axes. And now, I can just stand here on this tile until something causes me to move. So there's the spike attack again, and as you can see, I'm perfectly safe. I don't even have to think about it. So, I talked to you guys about being able to attack during the infected when you're clicking on the circles on the screen. I actually like to call it the bubble wrap attack. So once you've done this boss enough, you'll get used to what it looks like when the bubble wrap mechanic is coming up. And right here, as you can see, I right click on him prior to him actually starting the attack. And then if you click attack after the circles show up on your screen, you can get an attack in, and he can't damage you during that time, and usually neither you also can't damage him, which means that you're just adding extra damage. You're speeding up your kills slightly, and that's just a nice little trick that I've picked up in about 500 kills. So here we go, wrapping up this kill. After hitting what felt like 100 zeros in a row, we get 25 rubies, which is 50% more loot for doing a kill without taking any unnecessary damage. That should always be the goal. I can usually do it 9 times out of 10 at this point, and hopefully with the help of this guide, you'll all be able to do it 9 times out of 10 as well. I hope you found this guide useful. If you have, please leave a like, leave a comment, maybe subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm always open for that constructive criticism in the comments below. Thank you all for your time. Have a great day.